It was just really cool to race against my dad.
He was going to crap his pants if he wrecked you.
He almost wrecked
That
me.
didn't happen. That's not how I remember this. But
You don't have a good memory. You're getting
yes,
old.
you didn't lap me.
Yeah, I
That's a
did.
bunch of garbage.
Yeah, I did. I kind of just smiled and just waved by.
Welcome to Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour, presented by NASCAR on Fox. I'm Kevin Harvick. He's some guy we don't know. Kaitlyn, Vincie, Mamba Smith for, I guess, a special edition interview. I'm the guest today, and I brought young Keelan with me.
Love that.
And you guys are putting us on the spot. Is that
hang
correct?
on. We got to introduce him the proper
way, yeah.
Oh,
Driver of the number 62 Pro Late Model and the most recent winner in the Car Store West Series. Who'd you beat?
I beat him.
Oh, that's right. Keelan Harvick.
I beat him.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
Harvick
show.
in the house.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's nice to have you here. Fresh off your big victory, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he have to convince you to come on this, or you were happy to do it, or what?
No, he was happy to do it. I was happy to do it.
did I ask?
No. You said you're coming tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
You're coming tomorrow. I
how
like
it
the
works.
fit. Did your dad help you pick this out?
No, my mom did.
Yeah.
It's the same for him. She helps you too.
No, well, there are. Go ahead.
Mom was in your closet helping you this morning.
Yeah. And that's the way that it goes. I was going to come in a baseball hat and a t-shirt because that's how I feel right now.
Oh,
Tired and lazy. And she's like, not today.
not today.
not
Got to
today.
dress it up. You said you're tired and lazy, but it was an awesome weekend.
It
I
really
know-
was,
Tell us
yeah.
all about it because it looked really cool from our vantage point.
Yeah, well, we've been working on just trying to create unique events and the way that this has all evolved into being able to race against each other, putting on new events for the Cars Tour West, Cars Tour East, and being able to run in my hometown at Bakersfield. The way that it turned out, we were able to do the first event in Bakersfield in front of my hometown and the fans. And I think we had 21 states represented in the ticket sales.
Wide.
One of the really unique parts about everything that is happening currently with this late model situation, it's drug out the hardcore fans who really started to root for me when Dale passed away and had followed my career from the very beginning. And that's where a lot of these folks came from because now they have a different connection than what they've had before. And really, when we recognized the 29 hardcore fan was still there, it took different things to draw their attention to be able to get them to engage. And we learned that last year or 2 years ago at the All-Star race when I retired and we brought the 29 car back out. So it's been a really fun process to have events that we can re-engage with those fans and have that connection with those old school 29 fans that have followed my whole career, but really in a different way when I started driving the 4.
Yeah, he's talking about the 29, but there's starting to be a lot of 62 fans out there. Where does the 62 number come from? Why did you pick that number?
I picked the 62 because my mom's dad passed away in 2005 and he ran the 62.
Yeah. So it has a long lineage in your family. So when you were out there and you see all the fans, and I know it was a big event for you, 150 laps. How'd we feel about it? What was your prep like? Give me all the stuff.
We were good. I didn't get tired. We ate a taco before the race and Doritos.
Taco and some Doritos, yeah.
And a lot of water, right?
And a lot of water.
A lot of water. How
Did
many
we
bottles?
drink too much water?
We drank too much water.
How much water do we think we put down?
Probably 15 or more.
Wow.
Yeah.
15 or
Had to
more
stay
bottles.
hydrated.
How was that at lap 75 at the halfway break? Were you looking for the outhouse?
I was.
Well, he said on that other video you guys did on NASCAR that he was going to crap his pants if he wrecked you. So at least that didn't happen.
He almost wrecked
That
me.
didn't happen. We did have a moment. And I just drove by him in the first race. Just my man was setting qualifying laps, and I was just back there saving my tires and not really doing much. And he and Buddy Shepard, the kid that was up front with him, I was just watching those front tires go woo, woo, and I'm just back here, old man style, cruising
Old
along.
man style.
And next thing you know, I said, well, I think it's time to pass them both. I just drove around them on the top side. And I think that there's definitely some things that we have to learn on tire management and getting our balance right. But you don't really know those things until you experience those things. But it was fun to see the evolution of everything happening. Well, at the halfway break, you got 2 tires, so went back down to cold pressures, and I drove that thing into turn 1. I started on the inside, and I said, well, I'm probably going to need to get the lead as fast as I can here because track position was still important because of the second groove coming into play. So I drove that thing down in there, and it laid on the cross member. My guy was on the outside. I shoved him out of the groove up into the marbles, and what'd you go back to 5th or 6th at that point?
I stayed there for the whole race.
Yeah. So unfortunately, my bad start turned into his bad start.
Yeah.
And I actually lost the lead. Went back to like third or fourth there on the second lap because I was just I was too excited to try to get the lead and wound up costing us both the lead.
Cost the whole team there on that one. So you were talking about the racing with him. When I was watching some clips when you're racing. Probably with him or any other young driver, are you watching what they're doing? Because I know you like to give information, feedback to people about, hey, man, when you get into one like this, you might want to look at this. Are you watching some of those things? Are you just more focused on driving? Like, is it a little different? This is the first time you guys have really been able to do it.
I think that, it came back pretty easily as far as the driving part and being comfortable with the car for me personally. Yeah. And then as I'm racing, it also immediately turns into teaching.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have a laundry list of things that we need to go over, just from tire management, how to move around the racetrack, how you have to change when the car is doing certain things, brake pressures, things that I did in the car during the race. Now I can directly relate those things to him as to what I was doing to put those things into his mind to say, okay, you got to develop that tool bag of options of things that you can do in the car. So it's the first time I've been able to actually drive the car and be able to relate with things at the same racetrack in the same car. And on test days, we get the data and things that goes with that. So I've seen his theory of what he's doing in the car, and it's great for running really fast laps. Yeah. But car management is something that they don't really get taught in go-karts and legend cars because the races are so short. So now you have this new mindset that has to be developed of, okay, how do I make my car last? How do I move around the racetrack? And all those things came into play this weekend.
How cool was it for you, though, getting the win? Your whole family was there, obviously, to be a part of it. That's awesome, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it was really cool just because there was a lot of fans, and it was just really cool to race against my dad and have everybody there.
What was it like? I mean, did you hear... I know you heard, but were there any cool stories or anything that somebody told you this weekend, that something that I did wrong or something that they watched or anything? Because we were there, we went out Tuesday morning and I made him do all the sponsor lunches and all the, I made him sit in a city council meeting. So he had to go do all those things with me this weekend. Was there anything that you heard or saw that was fun?
The city council building was pretty cool.
The city council, that was cool.
Yeah,
well, okay, why was that cool?
Because you could see like the whole town of Bakersfield.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's cool.
Yeah. It was pretty fun.
When you get to talk to your dad, because you've had so many different teammates, right? Because you race with bigger teams like with Joe Ryan, and you got Landon Lewis and some of those other guys. When you get to bounce it off your dad, and you guys are talking as drivers, right? And now not necessarily father and son. Is that different? Is that fun for you just to be like that, more teammates?
It's fun just because he's taught me everything to do off the track when he's not driving, but it's cool to see when he's actually driving, like how he would do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's been, do you think this weekend kind of helped that learning curve a little bit more? Yeah, I would say so too.
Probably doesn't realize as much as it's going to help him as we go through the post-race conversations and it's really just not like I said, not having done those types of things. And really all the kids struggle with that. And the three of us that raced for the lead and were able to put ourselves in a position to have that three-way battle that we had, all three of us are pretty experienced. And you could see the gap between the racetrack moving around and the cars falling off and all the things that happen with the guys that really position themselves to take care of their car and put themselves in position for the end of the race. And so typically you learn more by running fourth or fifth in the middle of the pack, having to figure out how to pass and all those things that come with that. But ultimately in the end, what was the ultimate story?
What happened in the end?
Which time?
What was the lesson that we learned? We talked about it after the race. In order to finish first,
You must finish.
You must
you
finish.
must first finish.
Yeah.
That's right.
And one of them didn't quite get the memo. Didn't turn out the vet didn't quite get the memo. Now let's talk about that for a minute. So the move that you made, you came off of 4. It was like a 3-wide move. You pulled it from the top to the bottom, and you passed those guys.
Yeah.
That was a crazy. Like, it was the gap between your bumper and the back bumper of the guy in front of you was tight.
Yeah, and they got together right there off of 2, and I saw it happening, and I backed up and waited to see if they were actually going to spin out or where I needed to go, and the guy on the outside hung in there and was able to stay right there. And I talked to Jake after the race, and I felt terrible for him because he doesn't race like that.
Yeah,
he's a very accomplished short track racer and does a good job on the weekends, but he's in those moments. And with all the eyeballs and the people in the stands and the energy, it really makes the guys who hadn't done that before kind of get out of their element in that high pressure, high intensity, want to make a statement moment. And he just drove it in there too far, got the car on the cross member, had that death wiggle.
See it in the one kind of
it just had that quick snap, and unfortunately I was right there. So I knew that something like that happened because he's not gonna race like that. And Buddy and I have raced against each other before. Buddy Shepard, who was in the 22. So that's the fun part, because it's not only teaching him, and Dale and myself have been on the racetrack a lot with these guys, and there's so many of those teaching moments, and that's really one of the initiatives of the Cars Tour in general, is to be involved in the races, whether it's owning the teams, driving the cars, being on the racetracks. How do we teach these guys how to be more prepared than what they have been? And that's just one of those moments, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got more people in the grandstands, you've got more people watching on Flow, you've got all this attention around you. How do you manage yourself in those do or die situations to be able to succeed? And Jake he'll learn from that moment and understand. He understands exactly what he did wrong and how the intensity of the moment got the best of him. But it's not just about Keelan, or it's about all the competitors, and giving him that platform to be able to perform still under all that pressure in that moment as the intensity ratchets up into moments that are just bigger than what they've been a part of before. And that's really what Cars Tour East and West have created, is that platform for these guys to get more exposure, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, you're on the stage.
You're on the stage a little bit more than what you used to be.
So you're kind of talking big picture though, but as it applies to Keelan, what has maybe been something that's the most important to you that he be mindful of as he's pursuing now his own racing career?
Yeah, well, we've talked about this before, and really it's gaining the respect of the racers and the people. He's very young, and being able to show them that you're in control of your car, not run them over. It's not a legend car. They cost way more money. Respect the vehicle, respect your competitors. Even sometimes if it's at the cost of winning a race, like, you can't just run them over. You can't just bulldoze people like you do in a legend car. And even a legend car, it's not right.
Yeah, definitely not right.
And since we've started racing the car, I've seen some of that legend car bulldozer mentality start to go away, and learning how to pass appropriately without just slamming into them. And some of the racetracks, you'll have to do that. You'll have to use the bumper, but this racetrack is not like that. So being able to race side by side with, Gomes, the kid that wiped me out.
Yeah, 16.
They race side by side for multiple laps during the event. So it's important to have the respect of the competitors and learn how to race correctly.
Yeah, I think so. I was talking to your dad, Keelan, about this. Forget what I said it was Wake, but it was somewhere else last year. New River. Okay, you won a race last year at New River, and we brought it on the show because I thought the move you pulled was amazing. But you pulled almost the exact same move to take the lead. This weekend, you kind of came off of 4, and I don't know, do you realize how close you are? Because it looks like you know exactly where you want the car to be, and you just kind of scrub the back bumper of the leader, and then you take it down the inside and take the lead. That move was textbook amazing. I was so impressed.
Thank you. Yeah. I knew I messed up on the restart, but I was not going to let that one slip away.
So when you're in that moment, right, you know that you got a good car and you know you have a chance to win. I feel like you're really good at closing. You know, your dad's nickname was the closer, and I feel like you got a little bit of that closer gene in you. Do you think you got a little bit of that?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Not as much as him, but a little bit.
I think we have
not yet. You know.
No, I'm pretty sure we have video. We have video of this move. I want to see the move right here of Keelan Harvick taking this win. Walk us through it, Keelan.
So I went up the hill. I got a run, and I just turned down. And I drove in the corner.
Used them up maybe just a little bit.
Used them up and drove off.
Used her up.
Used her up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used her up.
Yeah.
Well, Mamba, obviously we've heard Kevin talking about, you know, Keelan's progression, but you've had a role in his career as well. So how have you seen him, you know, excelling and progressing?
It's been cool. I think I've known Keelan obviously since he was before he knew me, right? When he came into the shop at SHR. So when he was real little, and now watching him become a young man and progress off the racetrack and the interviews and all the stuff with the sponsors, because I knew he was going to be good. Like when he started racing the karts and I started going out to some of the kart races, I'm like, man, this kid is different. Things that he was doing.
He's different.
He's different, but he's definitely different.
You should see him at home.
Yeah. So I might have, we made a deal when he was kart racing. Every time he won a few races, because he was winning too much, so it couldn't be every race. But every 3, we'd go get some ice cream.
Ooh,
yeah.
Really? So, that was a good incentive.
It was pretty good incentive. It worked out pretty good.
So is the ice cream thing still?
Is this
still in play? Because I'd like to get some ice cream.
Listen, I think we might have to after this big win. We might have to go get some later on today. I think that might be a good plan.
Yeah. That ice cream was great.
Yeah. We got to go on a tour. Dewar's ice cream and candy. They're a local.
Oh, really?
They're a local ice cream candy company. They make these Dewar's chews. And so we got to get a tour of the ice cream and chew factory this week. That the family has it's a local Bakersfield company, has actually been in business since 1909, and some of the machines and things that we were able to see this weekend were just really, really old. But it's cool to see those companies. And I had the best milkshake of my life.
Did you?
Oh yeah, hand spun right there in front of you. But how cold was it in the ice cream?
-11.
-11.
He remembers that.
Yeah.
Well, I would remember
he's at the ice cream
11.
factory.
Wow.
That's wild. That's freezing.
That's fun, though.
I do have a question. I'm kind of bouncing around on you, Keelan. When you saw the 29 park sideways in turn 1, and you're still kind of with a whole head of speed, what was going through your mind? Were you
Don't
nervous?
hit that one.
What was the thought process there?
My spotter was guiding me through it, and I kind of just smiled and just waved bye.
Did you realize you were going to be the leader?
No. I didn't see. I honestly didn't see who spun out. I just drove through it.
Yeah. Did you see? I don't know how far back you guys were. Were you guys able to see the race that was happening?
I just saw sparks.
You just saw sparks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a whole straightaway behind you.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took a minute for him to get there, but when you got there, you kind of had to thread the needle because the cars were kind of staggered.
And they were coming down the hill, yeah.
Did you see him coming? Like, when you were there, were you looking left?
It was a long slide. That's one good thing about Kern is the walls were built
far away,
way away from the bottom of the racetrack, and typically up until this race, the bottom of the racetrack has been the preferred groove. And I knew in practice that the second groove was way better, but as you see right there, the second groove actually became preferred groove. And so, I think that's where the experience of the guys that we were racing with up front were able to find that groove, but we weren't that far behind.
That's what I'm saying. He's still going with some speed.
Yeah.
When you felt the right rear kind of get light, was that a pucker factor moment or no? Were you okay?
Well, at that point, I had sunk back into, okay, we got to win this race, and trying to figure out where I needed to be positioned, and I knew right there, if I could keep him from getting to my outside, which I did, that I was going to win the race most likely, unless I got moved out of the way or something along those lines, because my car was really good in the second groove, but I had what I thought was the right position, and I tried to squeeze him up off the corner. I left him a lane, and no, he had a lane. He definitely had a lane, but his car was better on the bottom. But I knew if I could keep him pinned down there, that I was going to be in good shape. So didn't work out, but overall,
great event.
It was just
cool event.
Just a great event from start to finish. The way that the town has re-engaged in supporting the new track. The track's been there for 12 years, but it's never really been reestablished as part of the community. Yeah. And that's really been our focus, is how do we get these core businesses and the fan base back that Mesa Marin had, because it was always part of the community, part of the weekly activity of people showing up to the racetrack and doing things as part of Bakersfield activities. And so being able to, the town it's on the total opposite side of town. So the town is actually growing to the racetrack. Oh. It's right off the interstate. That's cool. But now the local businesses and people are really re-engaged. We've spent a lot of time to get those people re-engaged to the racetrack. And that pro late model class is a mirror of what the pro late models are on the East Coast. Didn't exist. The first race that we ran in that class was in March. That's the first time that it's existed. So we had 19 or 20 cars there this weekend, and that's going to be the premier biggest class that we have out there when it comes to 2026. So it's been fun to see the excitement and enthusiasm about backing the things that we want to do for racing. It's not that racing was dead on the West Coast; it was dying, but it's really just because it was unorganized, wrong classes didn't make people excited about showing up and having fun. Yep. Same thing with the community. It's got to be fun for the community. It's got to be engaging. Tim Huddleston and his wife ran Irwindale Speedway, always packed house, blowing something up. But we had a flyover, we had military, we had fireworks. They had the mayhem machine there at the end and blew apart some motorhomes and cars. But that's what it takes to be able to get people to. It's not just a race, because the race might not be spectacular. You have to have an event that goes around it in case the race isn't that good or cars don't show up or whatever that is.
We probably should have postponed our plans and been there this weekend. Like Jacob Ullman was there with his son. Everybody was there.
We had the whole digital team there.
They
actually filmed the whole thing. So
that's good.
There's a documentary that they'll put together of the whole event that'll come out as we go through the next few weeks.
So it'll be available Monday after Father's Day. Actually, you didn't even know that.
So we've all seen kind of the clips of you going over to his car after he won. I mean, that had to have elicited some kind of emotions for you.
Oh, well,
I mean, just the moment.
Yeah, the moment, and I won the first half of the race, and he qualified on the pole, so he was able to do that, and then all the things that happened and it cycled into him winning his first pro late model race was something that was pretty neat, and as a part of that event, just made it really special, because those are things that you'll have documented forever, and being on the racetrack for that first win in that class was something that will mean a lot as to me personally and our family as we go forward. So it was fun.
Kate, you raced a bunch of different cars, right? Legend cars, go-karts, pros, late model stocks. What's your favorite one to drive right now?
Probably the late model stock.
Late model stock.
Because it's heavy. and it's just fun to drive.
Yeah.
Fun to
What's the
drive.
difference between the two cars? When you say it's heavy and fun to drive, what because it slides around?
It slides around, yes, sir, and it just has like a wider body,
Yeah, and it definitely is heavier.
and
Yeah.
you can
Does it have more power?
no,
No.
but you can use people up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Yeah.
You can use people up.
Yeah.
There you go.
More.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Is one of your favorite drivers still Max Verstappen? Is that still one of your guys or no? Not anymore.
In F1,
Yeah, in F1. Yeah, I think it's funny because he kind of uses people up too on the F1 side, so it makes sense.
And I think when you say use them up, you're not meaning like
no, not like
the
track
cars are more durable.
Yeah.
The pros and the supers that we're racing currently, they're just so fragile.
Yeah.
Like you use the bumper, usually it knocks the whole thing in because of the way that they're built. The late model stock is a much more durable car,
Yeah.
so that you can definitely be a little bit more physical in that car. Who's your Cup guy? Like who's your favorite Cup driver currently? I don't know this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you
Who's
got?
that guy?
Do you
I don't
got
know. I don't. I just watch it for fun.
See,
Yeah.
because he knows he's gonna be racing with him soon, so he ain't
So
really.
you don't
he
have a
ain't
favorite, really?
No
He
man.
got no favorite.
Who's the guy that you like? Who's your favorite driving style of the guys on Sunday?
Kyle Larson.
I knew he was
Yeah,
going to say
Kyle
that.
Larson.
Yep.
And why is that?
because he just goes hard.
Yeah,
just
goes for
aggressive.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fair.
good. You got to have a sense of relief, though. You know, the pressure off. You got that win, right? You feeling good?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's
How much
got to
money
be
did you win?
nerve wracking.
$7,500.
$7,500.
That goes all to him.
No, he gets none of it.
So how many more races do you guys have together?
Yes.
Oh, we have 7 more. The next one will be June 28th in Monroe, Washington,
Okay.
at Evergreen Speedway. So we'll be up there. And
How are you deciding the schedule? I mean, obviously you could pick where you want to race. There's a lot of different racetracks. Is it where you guys have cars at? Like, how are you guys trying
A
to
lot of
work
it
this out?
was trying to help the West get
Yep.
established and draw some enthusiasm and excitement towards the Cars Tour West. We'll do some stuff with the Cars Tour East here and there, and then we'll go to Pensacola. And
Love that place.
Actually,
Five Flags.
Pensacola, he'll run the pro, I'll run the super. So we won't race against each other. We'll just be in the same event. But we'll go to Colorado and race the pro late model against each other. So we've got Evergreen, Colorado, a race I can't tell you about yet.
Five Flags.
Yeah,
Pensacola.
and 5 Flags, and then we'll be back in Bakersfield at the end of the year.
Oh,
So
cool.
Yeah.
there's a couple others in between.
Me and Keelan want to make you a bet. We talked about
a
Is this
bet.
do you know about this bet?
Yeah, we talked about it in the dressing room.
Oh,
Yeah. Do you want to make the bet with him, or do you want me to do it?
You do it.
Yeah, I want me to do it. Okay, so
because he takes you more serious.
yeah, I don't know if that's true. Yeah. So okay, so when he beats you in the next race, you got to go do a legend car race at the shootout. Me, you, him, Scotty, Mac, SVG, Bubba, one race.
So you're saying if he beats me,
No, when he beats you again.
But what you're saying is if
No win.
Thank you.
if he beats me in Evergreen, is that what you're saying?
Sure, whenever yeah.
The next one's
Oh, the next one.
June 28th
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
at Evergreen.
They'll still be running a shootout.
Yeah.
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 I don't know that I can agree to that.
He's scared.
He's scared. He is scared.
I've never seen
We-
Kevin Harvick scared before.
I raced with him, or I didn't race. We practiced a legend car together at Florence, and I hit him and I lapped him, and he.
You didn't lap me.
Yeah, I
That's
did.
a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, I did.
No,
Yeah, huh?
that's not true.
Yes, I did.
That's not true.
Mhm.
So here's what happened. They con me into driving this legend car. And we go out on the racetrack, and I said, just leave me alone. Stay away from me. I don't want to be around you. Ultimately, he went out on the racetrack right behind me. I never looked in my mirror.
I didn't go out behind you. I went out right in front of you, and I caught you.
Okay.
I ran around.
That does sound like a
That's-
lapping.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how I remember this. but
You don't have a good memory. You're getting
yes.
old.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give you that. But that's not the way I remember it happening. And so I go out on the racetrack feeling pretty good about myself. Next thing I know, wham, runs into the back of me, knocks me out of the groove. And as we saw this weekend, same exact scenario, has used his stuff up.
Uh-huh.
And from that point on, I just toyed with him right behind him.
He's shaking his head no.
No.
Two different versions
He
of
was
this.
scared. He was going half throttle.
The thing I don't like about the legend cars, I can race rough in
Yeah.
the moments, but I don't like to race rough every lap.
It's every lap of those things.
And I just, when somebody hits me like they hit each other, I want to get out and drag them out of the car. But they all act like that's normal. They run over each other, they run into each other, and then they get out and say, "Oh, sorry about that, man. Hey." And you run over me like that, and I'm going to be pissed.
I don't know if he's taking this bet then.
I think
It
I have
sounds
not
like he's
accepted.
not accepting
Officially
this.
have not accepted this bet.
Okay.
we're going to have to
So you
keep
might
the
need to
pressure
come
on.
up with
Now,
something
I will
else.
go
Have to.
practice.
Okay, well, okay.
Go
I can go practice.
Do we need to make a bet for that, or are you just saying you're going to come practice?
I'll come practice.
Okay, well, that's
If-
decent.
I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, he's scared.
He is.
Did you
scared.
hear how far behind he was?
But you push him
When
out
we
of the.
wrecked.
Do you hear the part where you push him
No,
out of the
I'm
groove?
talking about
to-
this weekend. He said what you said you were straightaway behind.
Yeah, but you pushed him out of the groove on the restart or
Yeah.
put him back there.
I put him in that position. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Key, just watch out at Evergreen. He's gonna remember the bet.
Oh, yeah.
And so keep him
Yeah.
honest. I do want Piper. Piper, I feel like is your biggest fan. She's
Yeah.
always in the
Oh,
pictures.
no.
Always,
She
like,
was pulling for him this weekend.
was she?
Was she?
Oh yeah.
It was against
she was the
me.
only one on my side.
So
She-
Delana
team-
wasn't
uh,
either?
team-
Dang, Pipe.
Piper was
Okay.
team dad,
Okay.
Aw.
and so she was happy in the first half, but not the second half.
Got divided household. there.
Divided household. So
I think she was the only one there rooting for me.
is she gonna run some more karting stuff? Because it's been
She's
like
she's
sporadic.
got her cart, and the weather hasn't been on our side for
Okay.
our practice days, but she's wearing me out about a bandolero.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
This
that
is
is
getting
no.
Very
oh
involved
boy.
now.
Oh,
Both
boy.
kids.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Well,
we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
She's ready
I
for the
told her
competition.
I told her she had to practice, so she is very ready for competition.
That's
She
cool,
is
though.
very ambitious right now for whatever reason. Wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
Key, how do you think she's got it? She's got it in her too. What do you think?
She's very sporadic. She does one thing for a little bit, then she wants to try a lot of things.
Oh.
Mm.
That's good.
Is she coachable?
No,
Yeah.
she doesn't listen to anybody.
She doesn't.
Yeah.
Typical woman. Okay.
Yeah. She very much has her mother's fire and does not want to be told you should do something this way.
Ah.
That is definitely a common trait between the two females in our house.
Well, we look forward to all the future Harvick adventures. How was your first time on Happy Hour? How was this
It
experience?
was really good. Thank you guys for having me.
Good. Yeah, you passed the test.
Should
Great
we
job.
keep Mamba? He's questionable.
Well,
Well, the question is, should we keep you?
whoa,
Oh,
my
man.
dog. That's how you know me and him are locked in.
Yeah, I feel like I've
man.
been set up for failure on this. I'm not going to win, so I'm just going to sit over here and be quiet.
He is the only one that can talk to you like that, by the way.
Yeah.
That would not go over well with either of us.
I'm not scared.
Yeah,
All right, this has been really cool. Congratulations again
Thank you.
on the win. Thanks for coming on
No
to
problem. Thank you,
Happy
guys.
Hour. We look forward to the
Absolutely.
next race coming up at the end of June.